It's another edition of the Wrap-Up Show with John Schaefer and Jim Russell. We're presented by Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance. Before we get going, was Manny Machado robbed of a Gold Glove in 2021? A reminder, if you want year-round exclusive Padres content, that's what we're providing to you. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button. Jim's pointing to it right now, aren't you? He's about to be pointing to it. There's a subscribe button down below. There's a notification bell as well if you want to be notified when we have videos throughout hot stove season, free agency, heading into spring training. We'll get you covered for the lockout if it exists or not. Again, subscribe, like these videos, follow us on Twitter at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. So was Manny Machado robbed of a Gold Glove? Before we tell you about that, if you're shopping for auto, home, renters, or life insurance here in San Diego, there's only one place to turn. It's to Mark Nimitz. He's a San Diegan. He's at Farmers Insurance. He's got a decade plus of experience. He helps people like us find the perfect insurance products. And what separates Mark from the competition is his customer service and his communication. If you have insurance needs and you're a supporter of the Wrap-Up Show, all we ask is that you click the link down below in the description and you'll get to Mark's website. He can help you and your family with your insurance needs.
And when you email him at mnimitz@farmersagent.com, tell him that Jim and John sent you. All his information above my head right there. Go to Mark.
All right, what do you think? And you can reply down below. Was Manny Machado robbed of a Gold Glove this year? Nolan Arenado, not surprisingly, winning another at third base in the National League for the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, this vote is a percentage based on the Sabermetric Defensive Index and a healthier percentage based on voting from each manager and coaches on the staff in the National League. Padres managers can't vote for Padres and so on and so forth. So was Machado robbed? And here's the other question, Jim. Is he going to have a chance to ever win another Gold Glove again based on his reputation? Or is this reputation that's out there nationally costing Machado votes in all types of awards, including the Gold Glove?
So first off, we do a show based around Padres, so you probably know where we're leaning on this one. Like, we might be a little biased here because we also watch Machado every day. Like, I've seen just about every single play he's made at third base since he arrived in San Diego. Like, almost every single one, the good and some of the bad. What he did this year, I thought warranted a Gold Glove because he was moving and shifting in the outfield seemingly like every inning. There were plays at third base that he made that nobody else can make in majors. Maybe no one can make them, but some of the plays he would make, it was a one-of-one type of play. Only Manny Machado would make that play. So, yeah, we're going to be pretty biased here and say that he got robbed. It's just, I don't know exactly what the voters are looking at. And like you said, it's an index of whatever it is. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm just going to look at, well, if it's the managers that are voting, there has to be some type of bias here towards Nolan Arenado. You see Nolan Arenado's name. Did he play? How many games did he play? Okay, well, he probably did really well. Let's give him the Gold Glove. That's the type of thing. And I don't know if reputation plays a factor into why Manny Machado didn't win the Gold Glove. It's just frustrating because you watch him every day like we do, and you see how great he is defensively, but it just seems like he'll never have a chance to win a Gold Glove because just the name Nolan Arenado is in the National League. And I'm not like trying to say that Nolan Arenado is not a good third baseman. He's a great third baseman. He's great defensively. He's probably going to make the Hall of Fame based on how many Gold Gloves he's won. Maybe, but at the same time, you know, I don't know if there should be like just give out Gold Gloves to regardless of position players, right? Because there's other players that deserve to win Gold Gloves as well. Like 5 Cardinals won the Gold Glove this year. Really? Were they like the greatest defensive team in the history of baseball? Because no other team has ever done that. And I don't think they were. I don't watch much Cardinal baseball, but I didn't see a bunch of people writing about how like amazing and revolutionary the Cardinals defense was this year. Did you?
Well, a couple of things. First of all, like to your point, I mean, Arenado is obviously an amazing defensive third baseman, but so is Machado.
Right.
I think what does benefit Arenado, other than his abilities, is his national reputation is different than Manny Machado's. For whatever reason, Machado has this reputation that has stayed with him from Baltimore or even Los Angeles, even here in San Diego. Machado, there's no real reason anyone can ever give me that Machado's only won 2 Gold Gloves. It just doesn't make any
Right.
sense. You watch the
Oh.
way he fields, he's one of the great defensive third basemen in the history of the sport. Now, maybe so is Nolan Arenado. And also, to your point, they're asking him to do more than Arenado, and I feel like that gets lost in the shuffle
Mhm.
for whatever reason. Not to say they don't shift Arenado, but nobody shifts like Manny Machado. And shoot, Manny Machado has argued before. Listen, if it was up to me, I probably would outlaw the shift. I think a player of my ability probably takes away base hits
He said he
from
didn't like it.
left-handed hitters, and he did it all year long. And he's making spectacular play after spectacular play, throwing people out from the right field corner when he's in that shift, making plays in foul territory, out in the right field line or in shallow right field or in deep right field. Plus the work he does, obviously, just at third base. Now, a couple of things that probably hurt him this year. A, his fielding percentage was not near his career fielding percentage. Okay. So it was not his best year defensively. And the other thing is he only played 144 games in the field. So that number was low by Machado's standards. Arenado played 155 games. So listen, it makes sense that Arenado is the recipient of the Gold Glove. What doesn't make sense to me is it feels like we're precluding Machado from winning future Gold Gloves based on his reputation because this is a voting award. It's not solely based on analytics. It's not solely based on this Saber defensive index, which has to do with runs saved. And it's hard for me to really trust an index that says that Machado didn't save the same number of runs as Arenado when I watch what he's asked to do. When I watch the plays he's making, not just at third, but also in shallow right, day in and day out. So it's tough because sometimes, like when you're a really good player in the minor leagues and you're blocked by a great player and you can't get to a position, maybe Abrams will be blocked by Tatis at a position and have to move positions. The fact that Arenado's in the National League and so is Machado, that ultimately could be a blocking mechanism for Machado for the next handful of years as well. And it's unfortunate because Machado, at the very least, is a comparable defender to Nolan Arenado, and that's how I feel. And I think a lot of people feel the same way.
Yeah. What you said about he has only 2 Gold Gloves in his career, dude
Yep.
should have at least 4 or 5. Like, no questions asked.
He plays every
And
game, you know?
I know he is. Yes, he there are some times where he makes some errors, but look who Nolan Arenado is throwing to at first base, and look who Manny Machado is throwing to at first base. Nolan Arenado is throwing to a Gold Glover at first base in Paul Goldschmidt.
Right.
Manny's throwing to Eric Hosmer. So there were some errors this year that I thought Manny should not have gotten, that should have gone to the first baseman instead, but those were put on Machado. There's a bunch of other metrics that doesn't really make sense to me of maybe why Nolan deserved it over Manny. But again, it's just frustrating that the only way Manny, it seems like, has a chance to win a Gold Glove in the National League with Nolan Arenado on the Cardinals is if Nolan, unfortunately, does not play because of injury, or if he's not in the National League anymore. And that's, I'm not going to say it's not fair because I'm not going to discredit Nolan's defense, but maybe there's some years, and I'm not going to go go back and look. Maybe I have to. Maybe there's some years of the 9 straight Gold Gloves that Nolan Arenado won, he won off just reputation.
Well,
Like
how about I'll give you one. I'll give you a year.
All right.
Last year. So we can say this year Arenado had a higher fielding percentage than Machado and played more games, and that's fine. And I could still argue that I think Machado's a more versatile third baseman because of what the Padres asked him to do. Well, guess what? If the argument is fielding percentage, well, Machado had a higher fielding percentage than Nolan Arenado last year.
Right.
He had a 987 fielding percentage, Manny Machado last year. That is unbelievable for a third baseman. Arenado had a 982. Arenado last year as well. Cardinals didn't play the same number of games as everyone else. Yeah, they had the ridiculousness, obviously, of the COVID season.
So that proves the point. Is that this
It
is
proves
a
the point.
popularity contest?
And Machado hasn't won one since 2015. I mean, that's unbelievable because he's been healthy the entirety of his career. He's been in both the American League and the National League since 2015. Yeah, I'm with you. I think popularity plays a role. Now you'd say, well, hold on, John and Jim. Last year, Machado finished third in MVP voting. Well, maybe he would have finished higher if it wasn't for his reputation.
Maybe. I think Freddie Freeman deservedly won that award last year because his numbers were really good. I forget who was in second. I think it was Mookie last year. Does that sound right?
And then was Tatis fourth?
Tatis was fourth and Manny was third. It is frustrating that it, while there might not be, it certainly seems that way, that there is a type of bias towards Manny. Whether you want to believe that or not, it just feels that way. Like the perception of Manny is reality to people that don't watch Manny every day, that don't see him play injured. Like we talked to Skip Schumacher, and he even mentioned that Manny Machado played through a bunch of injuries this year. Don't know what they were, but he still played almost 150 games.
Mm-hmm.
And the defense that he played was incredible. I think that people didn't realize how much he was moved around the infield. I can't think of another player that this year that was moved as much as Manny Machado. Like, I'm not watching every baseball game, but it just felt like this was out of the norm to see Manny just jog to right field, I guess, every single half inning. And
Yeah.
I don't think Nolan was doing that. I don't think anybody else was doing that.
I don't think anyone else was doing it with the exaggerated shift that he was asked to play. He wasn't just
like right field, like
shifting. Yeah,
literally right field.
exactly. And that's to the Padres' credit, honestly. The fact that the Padres have, put themselves in a position where analytically they feel like that's the best way for them to field their nine, you know what I mean? By putting
Right.
Machado over there in the shift against left-handed batters and doing it with such exaggeration because they know he covers so much ground. And they know that by playing him deeper in right, he can still charge on balls and throw out a guy at first. They also know he can get back on balls and make plays that are in the air. And you're right. I mean, we're not watching every single baseball game, but you know that Machado is being asked to do more than 99% of third basemen and infielders in the sport. I mean, we can unequivocally say that. And he's
Yes.
doing it. Not only is he doing it, he's doing it exceptionally well. He really is. And to your point about Hosmer, I think it's an excellent point. I mean, with a better defensive third baseman, if it saves him 2 or 3 errors,
First
and by the
baseman.
way, he had two more errors than Arenado. It wasn't like the difference was exceptional. But if he had 2 less errors, would that be the difference between winning a Gold Glove or not? I don't know. If he hasn't won one since 2015, and they're playing him everywhere in the field, and now he's entering, I believe, his age 30 season. I wonder if he's going to get another or not. And I think it's a shame because when you watch him night in and night out, like we have as Padres fans for the last 3 years, it's hard to imagine his body of work these last 3 years has elicited 0 Gold Gloves.
Yeah. And last year, to your point, I don't understand why he didn't win a Gold Glove last year. I don't understand why he didn't win a Gold Glove this year. It's frustrating, and I think Manny might be frustrated about it. Maybe he doesn't care, whatever. But still, like, you want to have these awards, right? When your career's over, you want to look back and say, I won this, and I had this many Gold Gloves, and as good as a defender as he is, like his nickname is the Minister of Defense. Like he is known for his defense, and to only have 2 Gold Gloves, that's tough. That doesn't seem right.
Yeah, it would have been nice if Arenado switched leagues, ultimately. I mean,
Yeah, I
and
like
who
that.
knows? Would that have been enough? I mean, probably, but Arenado didn't switch leagues, and he's going to be in the National League moving forward, and it could be a potential roadblock for Manny Machado. So what do you think? Was he robbed, or is just Arenado a better defensive third baseman? Hit your reply in the comments section down below. And again, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, we've got exclusive year-round Padres content for you. That's what we're here for. We've got you covered with free agency. The GM meetings are this week as well. The looming lockout, potentially spring training 2022 and the upcoming Padres season. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Like these videos and follow us on Twitter at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. And until next time, you've been watching The Wrap-Up Show, presented by Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance.